Mark Rogers TV, joined by Cam Underwood from State of the U. We are running down every position for the Miami Canes coming into 2017. We stop at running back, and Cam, I think it all starts with Mark Walton. Very productive 2016 campaign with 15 total touchdowns.
Yeah, always, good to be back and talking to Miami Hurricanes. And if we talk running backs, we have to start with our starter, who is number one in your programs and in your hearts, Mark Walton from Miami Booker T. Washington High School, a kid who was legendary in high school, ended his high school career with a 5-touchdown game in a state championship win for Booker T. Washington. I think he had 3 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving touchdowns. And yeah, 15 total touchdowns in 2016, really supplanted Joe Yearby as a starting running back and took that job and really just went with it. He's just good. He's a solid all-around back. He does not have blazing speed, but he can pretty much do everything. He can block, he can run, he's a really elite receiver. Out of the backfield. He could have been a 4-star recruit at wide receiver if he wanted to play that position. I mean, he's a little small. He's stockily built. He's 5'9", like 195 pounds. So, I mean, he has muscle to him. So he's a little short for receiver. But, man, I mean, you see some of these catches. Go back and look at his high school highlights. That state championship game against Bowles, Jacksonville Bowles High School, man, I mean, look, Mark Walton can catch the ball out of the backfield. So I would like to see him used in that kind of way, maybe a little bit more. But definitely a solid, versatile back, who carries the load. He's very good inside the tackles. Again, he can break things to the outside, but he's not going to run away from you as a running back. But overall, more than 1,000 yards rushing. I think that's like 4 years in a row that the Canes have had a 1,000-yard rusher, which is something that we should be doing, especially in a Mark Richt offense that really wants to lean on the running game. Maybe 55 or 60% of the time to set up the play action pass to all of the targets that we have at receiver and tight end and things like that. So, Mark Walton, very, very good starting running back. He's a lot of the guys have left from both this roster and around the ACC. So, I mean, you can make the argument that he's going to be the top returning running back in this conference off the top of my head, because pretty much everybody else is gone. So, I mean, but he has a very good level of talent. He was a kid who was supposed to be a 2016 recruit, i.e. he was just supposed to be a freshman last year because of previous academic stuff. But at the end of his recruitment, he reclassified to 2015 and just popped up on campus and was like, graduated high school, here I am. So his freshman year 2 years ago, 2015, would have been his senior year at Booker T. Washington, which would have been unfair because, I mean, he had like 300 or 400 yards as a freshman, had like 7 touchdowns called back, I want to say, his freshman year, something ridiculous like that. But a guy that talented, if he would have been at Booker T. Washington in 2015 instead of on the Miami Hurricanes roster, he would have broken every single rushing record in Dade County. And if you know South Florida football, that is high praise and elite level production. So, Mark Walton is really the total package. At running back, he can run, he can block, he can catch, he can pretty much do it all. And that's the guy who's going to be the number one running back, both in jersey number and in stanchion on the depth chart. Yeah,
the game that stands out to me in regards to me taking what you bring in terms of analysis to the show and me watching Miami play 5 or 6 games a year, but then you don't always get to see the production or see the opportunity for the guy to play out what the scouting analysis is, was the Sun Bowl game, despite the loss against Washington State, that Mark Walton caught quite a few passes and made some really nice catches in that game. And like you say, made catches that a wide receiver would make in that game. Joe Yearby, gone. Moving on to the NFL draft, 600 yards and 7 touchdowns. You lose that production there. Gus Edwards not with the team any longer. So Mark Walton goes down or needs a break. Obviously, you want to share the carries as well and not heap everything on his shoulders. So who else is in the mix?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Joe Yearby is, in his 20s. I want to say he's 22 already, has 2 kids. So he's leaving a year early to go to the NFL draft. Not an elite level athlete, but he has elite vision and one-cut ability. He will make a guy miss and get some yards. So in a zone kind of scheme where you kind of pick your hole and then make a cut and go, he might not get drafted. It might be a 7th-round draft pick, but if he doesn't get drafted, I think that he has the chance to pick his team and find a fit that really works for him to catch on, either on the roster or on the practice squad. And practice squad players make, over $100,000 a year, or, so that's nothing to sneeze at. Gus Edwards said that he's going to transfer away from the University of Miami for his 5th year. Missed 2015 with a foot injury, came back last year, was kind of buried on the depth chart behind year being Walton, and then kind of moved up to that number 2 running back in the end of the season. There's maybe some talk that, and this is a lot from fans, and I've also seen this mentioned by a couple of reporters like a Barry Jackson from the Miami Herald, if people are wondering from where I pulled this. But there are a couple people who have maybe some blind hope that Gus Edwards will change his mind and stay at the University of Miami. I don't see that happening. Barry Jackson said he doesn't see it happening. The other people who have mentioned it said they don't see it happening either. So do not make a liar out of me and say that I said that he's going to stay, because I don't think that's going to happen. But there have been whispers that there are some people who hope that Gus Edwards stays around the University of Miami, which would be a big addition to the running back group in 2017. But like you said, both of those gentlemen have, for now, made their decisions to move on from the roster. So behind Walton, you have a sophomore, Travis Homer, from West Palm Beach Oxbridge Academy. This kid was a 4-star recruit in high school, and he has all of the tools. If you remember watching any game and you saw a really big special teams tackle where there was a kid flying down the field and making a hit, that was Travis Homer. And people, I mean, he's developed. He's about 6 feet tall. He's like 190, 95 pounds of wiry strength. You see his arms getting a little bigger in that jersey and everything. You see him hitting the weight room. And, I mean, this is the kid who has the speed to break any run from anywhere. If you look at his high school highlight tape, I mean, he has multiple 80, 85, 90. I think he had school record 99-yard touchdown run in high school. I mean, if he gets to that second level, you better hope that you have a track guy back there in the secondary, because if you don't, Travis Homer's going to leave him. And, I mean, he played early in, I want to say, the first or second game against Florida A&M or FAU. I think he had a fumble early. I think it was like maybe his 3rd or 4th or 5th carry of college. Late in one of those games, he split the defense. He's going through, and then just a little ball security issue. So I know that he's been working on that. Haven't really seen him since then. But again, you had upperclassmen in front of him, so it was going to be really hard to take carries, and especially when you had a sophomore starting like Mark Walton, it's going to be tough to get him carries in 2016. But I think Travis Homer is going to surprise people. I think people have forgotten about him. I think that, throughout the course of the 2017 recruiting cycle and things like that, you're like, okay, we're looking at this guy. We're looking to bring in this guy because we don't have anybody on the roster. You have Travis Homer on this roster, and he's really, really good. Again, a 4-star kid, tests really well athletically, really elite short area quickness, has blazing speed. I mean, we're talking – for a running back, if you're in the 4.4s, that's really fast. Most running backs are going to be 4.5, 4.6 because their quickness is the main thing as opposed to their straight line speed. This kid has both quickness and speed, and he's not shy about running on the inside either. So this is a kid I'm really looking forward to have a breakout season as the backup running back for the Hurricanes. Where's number 24, which was my basketball number, and my entire family's basketball number, but whatever. So he's a favorite of mine because he wears 2-4. But yeah, Travis Homer is going to be a kid who's going to become a household name, at least on the ACC circuit this next year. So I think he really is just going to snatch that backup role. Coming back from injury, you have a redshirt junior, Trey Andre, from Miami Carroll City High School. He was a quarterback in high school, kind of an athlete. 6'2", 225 pounds. So he was maybe, looked at running back, tight end, wide receiver coming out. We put him at running back because, when he played quarterback, it was basically single wing. It was a one read and go kind of thing when he was in high school. So, yeah, it makes sense that he could play running back and just follow his blocks. So he's needed to had some time to develop at that area of, setting up his blocks and getting that vision and that consistency, getting his pad level down. Because there's one thing when you're quarterback and you're looking to throw and all of a sudden you're running here, but, running back, you need to be kind of leaned over and have that forward leaning body position. So he's struggled with that a little bit. He missed last season with a knee injury towards ACL, but he's coming back this year along with Lawrence Cager at a wide receiver who also tore ACL. Those two guys have been going back and forth about their training and their rehab on Twitter recently. So that gives some sense for confidence, I want to say, with Trey Andre, but we still need to see development from him as a running back. He's nearly as fast as Homer, so that's his main strength. And he has size too. 6'2", 225. That's good size. But he's very fast. If he gets to the open field, he's going to leave you also. And it doesn't look the same as Homer because Homer's maybe 25, 30 pounds lighter than is Trey Andre. But this is a kid who can really, really run. But again, he just needs to really develop his skills and technique as a running back. Early enrollee in the 2017 recruiting class is Robert Burns from Gulliver Prep. That is a school that has given Miami quite a few guys recently in the recruiting world. This is a kid who is 5'10", 5'11", maybe 205, 210 pounds. If you look at him in pictures, like he has size to him, definitely, he's definitely developed. The thing with him is injuries. And he burst on the scene as a high school sophomore. He had, at the time, he went to the Miami Regional Nike camp for the opening. This is where they pick the guys to go to the opening, their elite recruiting event in July. And when Robert Burns went through the testing, the athletic testing that year, he had the highest rating for that time. That record has since been broken, but in the years that they'd been doing that, no one had tested athletically like Robert Burns did as a high school sophomore. So, you look at that and you say, wow. You think of all the guys who've gone to the opening, any big-time recruit, any big-time college football player, a lot of NFL players that you know of over the recent, last 5-10 years, those are all guys who went to the opening. They all went through regionals, and Robert Burns athletically tested better than every single one of them. So if that doesn't prove to you or show to you that he's an elite-level athlete, I don't know what else to tell you. The thing about it is, that sophomore spring of his sophomore year, that was the last time that he was healthy. He missed basically the entirety of his junior year with an injury, missed almost the entirety of his senior year with a variety of injuries. I think he had 9 carries for 53 yards and a 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, and that's it in his senior year. I didn't forget about anything. I didn't say, oh, whatever. No, those were his entire stats. He had basically 10 plays of statistical note as a senior. So that's crazy, but this kid was a 4-star kid before all these injuries, and his ranking got dropped because you have to include injuries into the perspective for the future. Because if you can't stay on the field, then you can't be this elite level athlete. And I was there at the Miami Regional Nike camp a couple of years ago, and I saw this kid doing all these things, and I'm sitting there talking to other recruiting writers, from every outlet. You're talking ESPN, Scout, 24/7, Rivals. There's all kinds of guys, other, recruiting websites out there. And I'm trying to go to all of them, and we're all looking like, who is this kid? But he has the size, he has the athletic tools. It remains to be seen if he can think that he could have a role at running back this year, especially because I'm at the end of the list of running backs now. So we have Walton, Homer, Gray coming back from an injury, and Burns coming back from 2 years of injuries, and that's it. So, if he's healthy, Robert Burns is going to be a guy who's going to get carries. Now, there could be additions in grad transfers, and Miami has been reportedly talking to Tyshawn Dye, who's leaving from Clemson, and that would be great. That proves this whole little, soliloquy that, since we only have 4 guys at the position, and 2 of them are coming off of year-ending injuries, basically, and one of those 2 missed his last 2 years of high school with injuries. If Gus Edwards wants to stay, I'm all for it, because that adds another game-ready back. Even if he's not an elite talent guy, that's a back with size and speed again. Or add a Tyshawn Dye, or maybe insert name here from a JUCO, or find that, Marquez Williams went to Mars Hill for 3 years or 4 years as his grad transfer as a fullback for the 2016 team. Had to kind of find a diamond in the rough, but might have to do that again to find another number guy at this position. So, there's talent, but it's thin at running back. So, if everybody stays healthy, which again, with 2 guys coming off of injuries is definitely not something that I'm expecting, Miami would be in a good spot. But, hopefully if we add a guy or 2 at this position, then things will look better.
That freakish athletic ability that through the ceiling, combined with the lack of production based on the injuries, kind of balanced out to 28th rated, according to 247 in the running back category for Robert Burns out of Miami. Now, because I hang on every word, Cam, Gus Edwards, I hope he stays around. I believe you weaved that in there somewhere. I may have missed that.
Yeah, I tried to get there just a little bit, but I hope if he wants to. And, I understand that everybody's path in life is different. And if he chooses to, go elsewhere, maybe to, I don't know where, maybe a Rutgers because he's from New York. I don't think that he can go to Syracuse because I think Miami would block that because we would play Syracuse this year on the schedule. So I think that was it, even though, Mark Richt he's famous for not blocking anybody's transfer anywhere if they want to leave or if they get dismissed because he says life is too short. And that, I think, was a decision if that was, and I believe that was reported, if that's true that they're blocking a transfer to Syracuse for the New York State native, Edwards, that would have come from somewhere above Mark Richt's office, like athletic administration, not necessarily the coach. But if he wants to stick around, that'd be great. And we're in a little bit of a bind at the numbers because Anthony McFarland is a 4-star running back recruit in the 2017 class. He was silently committed to Miami for months by every report out there. He told them that he was coming and everything, and Miami took him at his word and stopped recruiting other running backs and told them, go elsewhere because we have Burns, who'd been in for a couple years recruited, and then McFarland said he was going to come in, and at the last second he flipped to Maryland. So that would have been another guy at this position who would have, helped the numbers greatly with or without Gus Edwards. So having McFarland flip to stay home, and you can't really be mad at a recruit for wanting to stay home because I hope that all the top talents from South Florida in this and any class will want to stay home as well. But getting him or having him flip at the last second after being silently committed to Miami for months, that stings a little bit, and that puts us in that position. But if Gus Edwards wants to stay here, then, he has an apartment waiting for him through University of Miami Housing Department. He can get all these kind of things, like we will still, feed him in the dining hall and give him, all the weights he needs in the weight room, like all these things, hey, we're here for him if he wants to be here. But if not, we have 4 very talented backs. 2 of them are fighting injuries, and we'll probably look with a grad transfer or something to get another body at that position because, walk-ons are great for practice, but you're going to need guys who are going to be ready to play in these games. And with 4 running backs, I think that Miami needs at least another one, and hopefully we can find that.
So it's the ever steady, reliable, and productive Mark Walton, definitely in the number 1 position at running back for Miami, and then a bunch of talented X factors due to a number of factors in their personal situations there at the running back position for the U. Cam Underwood joins us to break down positional units to lead us up to spring practice right here on Mark Rogers TV. Join Cam on State of the U, and I'll let him close it out because he does it much better than I do in letting you know where to find the best in Miami football.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's always fun to get on here. So like Mark said, go over to stateoftheu.com. Just got 2 new baseball contributors. So we have baseball season preview up, and we're going to have great coverage for Miami Hurricanes baseball. If you don't know, Miami Hurricanes baseball is one of the top programs in America. So you should follow us for that. We have basketball season ongoing, so we have great commentary and coverage for that, and always have football stuff going on. Had a really nice article last week about how Miami can use Braxton Berrios in the passing game, but we're not talking really wide receivers today. But we've talked it on the site, so you can go there. But for all your Miami Hurricanes needs, stateoftheu.com. We're always there. See you.